Hello, everybody, and welcome to this series on what successful CEOs do. And we are looking at part four. And in this part four, we are looking at building effective corporate governance. One of the most important things that any successful CEO should be doing is to build effective corporate governance. Many a times when you see all these great companies, great institutions doing so well, one of the most important elements that keep a company together and keep that machinery functioning effectively is what you can call corporate governance. And corporate governance do not happen by chance. Corporate governance happens from the place of intentionality, from the place of dedication to build a good corporate governance system that will enable the full functioning of the business. Now, what is corporate governance? I would like to give a definition from the Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance. The Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance says that corporate governance refers to the system. Now, the key word here is the system, and that brings us back to what I said about corporate governance is intentional. Any organization you see with an effective functioning machinery where all departments are functioning seamlessly together and many things seems to be so uniform and so effective, it is because there is a governance system that has been built. So corporate governance refers to the system by which businesses and corporations and institutions are directed and controlled. A system by which institutions are directed and controlled. The governance structure specifies the distribution of things like the rights. What are the rights of the employees? What are the rights of the senior managers, rights of the founders, and all of that? The governance structure also specifies their responsibilities. What are the responsibilities among the different people in the organization? What are the responsibilities of everybody? And are they aware of these responsibilities? So, and these responsibilities are clearly communicated. Responsibilities of the board of directors, responsibilities of senior managers, middle managers, responsibilities of shareholders, responsibilities of any other stakeholder that directly or indirectly affects the operation of the business. And one of the most important things that a governance system, a corporate governance system creates is that it spells out the rules and procedures for making decisions on corporate affairs. It spells out the rules and procedures for making decisions on any affair in the business. For example, in one of my businesses, there is a policy which states that any expense between 1 franc and 250,000 francs, the senior manager or the manager in that business has the right to make the decision and carry out that expense without coming to me for permission. That is a procedure, that is a policy laid down to handle the corporate affairs of incurring expenses for the daily operations of the business. So, as a CEO, you need to make sure that you are intentionally building a corporate governance system. Now, corporate governance can be very broad, but when you understand this explanation I have given, you can start looking at what are the various affairs, activities, and things that happens in the business that you need to frame a structure. You need to create systems. You need to write down policies that even in your absence, people can read that policy and begin to act upon it. That is part of corporate governance. So corporate governance can involve any of the following. Number one, you build a system where people work together to ensure that there is a robust, effective working collaboration between all top executives and all employees. That is corporate governance. Corporate governance helps to achieve this. How do we have an environment where top executives work together, where top executives and employees work together, where this environment is so robust and so effective and so respected that a lot can be achieved because of the efficiency of the corporate governance in place. One thing that corporate governance also pays attention to is that it ensures the financial reporting, the regulatory compliance, internal controls, and procedures for preventing fraud. This is part of corporate governance. I know we handle this when it concerns financial management, but corporate governance pays attention to the finance department. Corporate governance ensures that there is proper financial reporting, ensures that the company respects the regulatory standards laid in place, ensures that there is proper internal control to avoid fraud and stealing and misuse of finances. Corporate governance ensures that there is a laid down procedure, a documented procedure to prevent fraud. An example of a policy around preventing fraud could be that as far as the business is concerned, every end of month there will be internal financial control before staff salaries are. Another policy, every 4 months, the business will bring in experimentation to ensure that fraud is not happening in the business. Whatever. Another business could be, you know what, at the end of every year, before we cross to the next business year, accounting year, proper auditing must be done by an external audit body. So we are sure that everything is intact. The third thing that corporate governance involves is that it ensures that the company's activities, the business activities, align with its mission. Yes, corporate governance is always put in place to ensure that any action, any step, anything that the business is doing is not from the place of excitement. It's not from the place of personal ambition. It's not from the place of what the CEO desires, but it is from the place where every activity that is being done align with the mission of the company, align with the values of the company, and there is a seamless working collaboration with all departmental heads as far as some activities are concerned. The fourth thing that corporate governance involves is that it maintains transparency in all operations and reporting. Yes, corporate governance is out to achieve transparency, clarity, transparency. There is no shortcut, there is no unnecessary things that can lead to confusion, or there is clear transparency from how reporting is done, from how expenses are incurred, from how sales are recorded, from how employees are paid. The corporate governance ensures that in all the operations of the business, there is transparency. It ensures that all the staff know, all the staff are aware that every action you take, transparency is paramount. Second to the last point that involves corporate governance is the development and company policies. The development or the development and the implementation of company policies. Now, development is the hard part because it takes a lot of work. This is where the business makes sure, you as the CEO, you make sure that a lot of policies are developed for the effective functioning of the business. It could be policies around staff punctuality, policies around paternity leave, maternity leave, policies around conflicts at work, policies. You develop policies. What happens? What actions do we take when this happens? If a staff is sick and is admitted for days, what is the next step of action? What does the policy say? If a staff is absent from work without due permission, what does the policy say that we do? If a staff is consistently coming to work without proper explanation, what is the policy saying that we should do? You see, so you develop policies around all important areas of the business and ensure the implementation of these policies. When something happens, you check, what does the policy say? What is the action that we need to take in order to handle this situation? So corporate governance ensures the development, the writing of company policies, and the implementation of these policies without bias, without favoritism. Another aspect of corporate governance is corporate legal affairs. It is the role of the CEO to make sure that the company is duly represented when it comes to legal affairs. That is part of corporate governance. Is there a company lawyer? If there is a court case, there is a legal case, how do we handle it? Who is responsible? So corporate governance makes sure that these questions are answered. Foster a culture of ethical conduct across the organization. Intentionally create trainings, create programs where you begin to teach your team, your employees on ethics in the organization. What are the ethics that drive your organization? The ethics could be around confidentiality of private data. Ethics could be around how to talk to each other. Ethics could be around frowning or raising a strong discussion against gossiping and backbiting in the workplace. You sit down as a CEO and you list down ethics all the employees in your organization must pay attention to and respect. I hope that you have learned a couple of things in this session and you will take action immediately and consistently build your business. Keep shining. Cheers.